Nadeem Aslam's The Blind Man's Garden, chapter 19 and 20. Mikal was in the mosque in Kandahar, where he, along with other suspected terrorists, was waiting for the American soldiers to take them away from Afghanistan. Here in this chapter, we are going to resume that story. Now the prisoners are in the helicopter heading towards American prison. Everyone curses and prays. Some of them were shot as they tried to escape or resisted capture. The atmosphere of fear prevails. Only Mikhail is there in the American jail. His arms and legs zip locked and a hood covering his head. He is prisoner number 120. The soldier cleans Mikhail's wounds and changes the bandages. The medicine the soldier applied on Mikhail's wounds relieves Mikhail. They then go through the cavity search, change Mikhail's old chains and lock him again in new manacles and then put him in a jumpsuit, take his photographs and then shave his beard and hair, then retake his photographs. Where is this place? Mikhail knows nothing. However, Mikhail goes through different tortures in this prison, from exhaustion chamber to sleepless 20 by 10 room. A translator knowing Pashto, Urdu and Punjabi comes to Mikhail. He tells Mikhail that another white police officer wants to ask some questions, but Mikhail has blank expressions. The officer name is David Town. He asks Mikhail what his name is, how to reach his family. Is he a Pakistani, an Afghan, or Afghan born and raised in Pakistan? Mikhail doesn't reply, but the white police officer tells him that he was talking in his sleep, so there is no point to be silent. The officer then displays a book of photographs if Mikhail knows anyone. Another white officer enters and motions for David to step out. David returns. This time he is angry. He shouts at Mikhail, asking him if he knows anything about those white powder found in the basement of the mosque. Mikhail doesn't answer. He is asking questions angrily. Mikhail's eyes are on the white man's mouth without caring about the translator. The officer then shows videos of women shot down at the mosque. He asks Mikhail if he has his wife, mother or sister among those suspected women. What is Mikhail's relation to the woman? How did Mikhail come to the mosque? Who brought the powder to the mosque? Were the question at center, asked by David Town. Furthermore, the imprisoned women and children can only get freedom if Mikhail speak about powder and other chemicals, the officer David Town tells Mikhail. Mikhail tells him that he is just a prisoner before someone else is now theirs. He knows nothing about anything, but tells that in Pashto. The white officer asks about Mikhail's connection with war, his bullet wounds. Mikhail is tired and feels sleepy. In order to stay him awake, David shouts at him and asks about his link with Sudan, Kashmir and Bosnia. David admits that white men will never win against the likes of Mikhail because they love life, while Mikhail loves death. After not getting any answer to his questions, David leaves Mikhail in the torture chair. David returns and asks questions again. Has Mikhail met Osama bin Laden, Mullah Umar or Iman al-Zawahiri. Mikhail refuses to speak. David then sends him to the sleep deprivation cell. The prison is a deserted brick factory filled with boys and young men. Now every prisoner is in a separate cage. A boy next to Mikhail's cage tells Mikhail that his name is Akbar. He also unmasks the nationalities of other prisoners. He tells Mikhail that he was kidnapped and sold to the American for $5,000. Anyway, Mikhail doesn't react. Akbar tells about another prisoner next to him. He is from Morocco. An interpreter forwarded his message to the white investigator. Now he wants to be honest with his curbed feelings. That is, that he hates America. An interpreter refuses to translate his full answers and say so on and so forth instead. On the other hand, Mikhail can neither avoid sleeping nor stay awake, for he may talk in his sleep and reveal something. Three white men shouts at Mikhail. They tell him that Joe has told everything to them. Mikhail wants to see Joe. Mikhail has nothing to share. He asks if Joe is alright. The white man keeps asking about the escape route the Arab fighters are using to get out of Afghanistan. But Mikhail is obsessed with Joe. The white officers asserts that Joe has told everything. Either Joe tells a lie or he does. But why would Joe lie to them? Additionally, what did the American soldiers do to Joe to make him confess to that? Means to tell a lie. Akbar shares one more story of the Moroccan prisoner fellow with Mikhail. One day a female investigator asked the Moroccan prisoner what he was feeling about the Twin Tower attack. She further told him that she lost her first boyfriend whom she ever kissed in the attack. On that, he said that he would have cut her throat, for he was not her husband. That enraged other police officers and beaten him savagely. David tells Mikhail that Joe has told him that Mikhail has the phone numbers of Al-Qaeda lieutenants. He further adds that Joe has Omani Riyals, American dollars and Pakistani rupees. The reason the United States is not torturing Mikhail is just because it is wrong and uncivilized. Now, could Mikhail tell him his name? Could Mikhail share information about Al-Qaeda members and tells David something about the money Joe has? No, Mikhail tells him that why not David ask all these questions from Joe. Joe can share everything what David wants if Joe is alive. Mikhail sees a lot of pictures in the corridor that says something wishing in welcoming of their white soldiers. Go get the bad men and I hope you kill them all and come home safely. So shocking it is for Mikhail. Mikhail wants to escape. He tells Akbar. The American military police are planning to shift the prisoners to Guantanamo Bay, a terrible prison. David still stuck on the old question what his name is. The American police is torturing Joe next to Mikhail's cage. Mikhail begs not to torture Joe because he is innocent. But The American police continues torturing him savagely. Michael tries to go and stop them. Upon this, he then receives savage punishment for that. Michael is willing to tell the truth if the white officer could just let Joe free. Michael adds that he is just a prisoner sold for money. He tells the officer if he could ask Joe to tell something only Michael knows. A military police has shifted Michael to dark painted room, arms shackled with the ceiling. A military police is on guard. He laughs ironically at Michael that says many more things and is pregnant with many hidden messages. His laughter targets many things as Michael feels it. Michael's worthlessness and his disastrous love for Nahid, his inability to help Joe, a laughter that flickered with contempt for him and his nation. His laughter aimed at the miserable condition of water system, the shortage of medicines, petrol, the prevalence of unnecessary violence and revenge culture, the network of corruption ranging from butcher to milkman to doctor to policeman to transport inspector, a laughter full of contempt for unholy holy men, liars, hypocrite, beaters of women and children, rapist and murderer, a contemptuous laughter at those who want independence from British but desperate to immigrate to Western countries, to anywhere but Pakistan. However, we call Vespers that the American people have played a huge part in ruining his nation. Laughter stops. There is nothing in the room except Michael's breathing. Michael asks David if he be allowed to see Joe. He isn't. David asks him, what did Michael feel at the time of 9/11? Michael answers that it is a disgusting crime. Most of the people condemn it. David reminds Michael that there's something only Michael and Joe know. David has it. The word is Nahid. The words Nahid electrifies him and attacks David with his teeth, the only weapon. Summary of chapter 20 of Nadeem Aslam's The Blind Man's Garden. This chapter is short but highlights the obsession of Nahid with Michael. Nahid is waiting for him. He looks at the gate time and again in hopes for his comeback. Furthermore, she loves Michael so deeply that she can make the abstract beloved concrete with her imagination. As Tara told her one day, when someone thinks of us or dreams of us with enough longing and love, we disappear from where we are. It happens with Nahid. One day, as Nahid hallucinates that Michael is following her, but he then disappears soon. She waits for him to reappear.